Mario Fratti.
The name, the name of the main character in Fellini was Guido.
Yeah.
In your play, you changed it into Nino. I know there's so much. Maybe we could talk a little about a little later on. But who caused the change in?
Look, in Italy, you are afraid. Gassman, Gassman, changed a few lines in a play by Pirandello. He was sued by the family.
Wow.
So when I wrote the play about Fellini, I didn't want to use initially the name Guido. I didn't want to be sued, you know?
Yeah, sure.
If Fellini decided to sue me, I would say, no, that's Nino. Who is he? I mean, Nino is somebody else, you know? So that's it. But then when I went back to the musical, we decided, me and Moriester, to choose again Guido Contini. Guido Contini. It was our choice.
But the Contini...
I was invented by me completely.
So but Guido is the main character. In a little later on, we'll talk about Guido again. Maybe, do you notice what is the difference, let's say, if you were to compare the play to the musical? I guess the musical and the film are just about the same. There's always change, of course, because things evolve, but...
There's a huge difference.
There's a huge difference.
Huge difference. What happened is this. As I mentioned, the play was successful and will be successful because of my invention of the protagonist going to Venice and shooting Casanova. That's fun, satirical, sarcastic, irony. I make fun of everybody, and and so that works. Now, Rob Marshall, a great director, and I suggest everybody should go and see the film because he's a fantastic director. He's the one who did Chicago, and he chose fantastic cast. Decided to go back to the original 8.5. Now, that's a very delicate choice because we chose 9 not to be accused of trying to be better than Fellini. Now, when you do a film exactly like Fellini, there will be a comparison. Yep. It's like me writing La Divina Commedia. It's absurd.
Yeah.
So in a way, the film is great. You should go and see it, but it's not my musical.
Of course.
It's not.
There's a change.
It's a parallel. It's a recreation of 8.5 by Fellini. And it's always very dangerous to recreate a masterpiece.
Talking about in the movie, we do notice that they took episodes, basically, like the prostitute.
Oh
on
yeah,
the
the Vatican. They took the
Vatican.
Machine with the Vatican machine. You know, when I recognize the line, the good line. You know, when the bishop says, "Try harder," that's my line, and the Vatican is my line. I mean, I recognized a few things, but basically. Those are lines also which came from the film, etc., etc. But Rob Marshall, a genius, I tell you again, I'm proud of him and everybody loves him, made the mistake of ignoring my musical and going back to 8.5.
Well, talking about your musical, your play, and you talk about the religious aspect of the Monsignor.
Yeah.
That is what I recognized immediately as I saw it, because I know the aspect of Catholicism and the approach that you have with the Catholic priests. It's in your plays many times, seveal places that I have seen.
But I take from Fellini. Fellini, for instance, I knew
Fellini also has it, especially at the baths.
Fellini had a friend, a bishop of Genoa, and he used a special gimmick. When he had a film, he would put some kind of erotic scenes. And then he would show it to the bishop, and he would say, brother, I just finished this play, what do you think? And the bishop would say, good, but cut the scene of the naked woman. So he would cut it. He didn't need it. And he would make everybody happy. Let's say Machiavelli, Fellini, like most of us, is Machiavellian, okay? There was Machiavellian way of accepting the church and being justified by the church.
So that he would be part of the system.
The system.
Well, you treat also a little with criticism the church and as a system in many places that I have read from.
Unfortunately, I read some better. I had a terrible example when I was 12, you know, and the fascist priest came to us and says, we should join Mussolini in his fight against the Jews and the communists. I mean, I was shocked. A Christian priest telling me that they should fight the Jews and the communists. That was a shock in my life. It changed me completely. So there are some good priests and some less good priests. So in a way, I trust the human beings, but the system is a little bit too overwhelming.
Okay. I have to tell you, my wife and I went to see it maybe 2 or 3 days ago, and we loved it. We loved it.
Great film. Go and see it.
I saw your print, and I saw also the Marshall's print there, because Chicago was recreated.
Yeah.
I mean, especially with the songs and the dance.
Yeah.
That was him. But also I noticed your words are there, here and there.
Some are there.
And I also have to be honest with you. I think aside from the scenes that he took from Fellini, at the very end, you also get the feeling of the Fellini atmosphere, of the nostalgia. I felt also Fellini at the very end, even though I know they have taken scenes from the movie.
Look, I think he's successful in his movie, but very dangerous to say this is a parallel with Fellini.
No,
the Italian critics are furious.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you say, I wrote a Divina Commedia? My Divina Commedia is better than yours. So in a way, he didn't say that. He's trying to justify, he's trying to say, well, it's my film and the way I saw it. If his film didn't say it comes from 8.5, they would accept it. But the fact that he says it comes from 8.5, it's dangerous, it's delicate.
Legally, it's delicate. Anyway, what is yours, I believe, that is in the play and it's portrayed in the musical and then in the movie, is the problem of the creativity. In fact,
creativity, yes.
Yeah. In fact, here the subtitle for your play, I mean, the title was changed, obviously, but the subtitle, it's there. I mean, that's what the play is about, and that's what the movie is about. That regardless of the scenes, it's a comedy about creativity and stealing.
Yes.
I think this.
Yeah, that's my definition.
It's
he
great.
was creative, but in reality, when I saw him, he was working with two friends of mine, two great writers.
Means Fellini.
Fellini was working with Tullio Pinelli and Ennio Flaiano, two great playwrights. Well, he stole from them.
But this reminds me, the stealing and the imitating,
it's all right.
Creativity. It reminds me of the early Renaissance, the humanistic period with Petrarch, for example, the image of the bee that goes around the flowers and steals the nectar.
Absolutely.
And then he comes up with the honey. That is the art. But the bee actually, in order to make the honey, has to steal the
Absolutely.
So it's the same image that.
And I have a very good example, you know. I wrote the play The Cage, which has been very successful in Japan and Poland, everywhere, okay? And everybody said, oh, it's a good play. One critic wrote, it's very obvious that Fratti is imitating Henry IV by Pirandello. Now, it's true that I adore Henry IV by Pirandello.
But you had not even realized. Just as I said, the six comes from Pirandello.
The famous idea that I was imitating Pirandello. So, which meant I had absorbed the lesson, like a bee. And then I'm using it. I'm sure that in many of my